This is the liver outside the body. The liver lies in the right hypochondrium. It consists of a large right lobe and a smaller left lobe. These two lobes are separated from each other by the attachment of the falciform ligament, by the fissure for ligamentum teres, and fissure for ligamentum venosum. This is the anatomical position of the liver. It has an upper surface, anterior surface, right surface, posterior surface, and an inferior surface. The upper and anterior surfaces are related to the diaphragm, and the anterior surface is partly related to the anterior abdominal wall. The falciform ligament is attached to the upper and anterior surfaces of the liver at the boundary between the right and left lobes. The free border of the falciform ligament lodges the ligamentum teres of the liver, which is the obliterated left umbilical vein. Note that around this ligamentum teres there are the para-umbilical veins which connect the portal vein to the systemic veins around the umbilicus. This is the right surface. It is related to the diaphragm, which separates the liver from the right lung and pleura. This is the lower border of the liver. It separates the anterior surface from the inferior surface. This is the inferior surface, also called the visceral surface because it is related to the abdominal viscera. This is the fissure for ligamentum teres, ending at the left end of the porta hepatis. The ligamentum teres separates the right lobe from the left lobe. The left lobe is related mainly to the stomach, forming a large gastric impression. Very close to the porta hepatis, there is an elevation termed tuber omental, which is related to the lesser omentum. At the right side of the fissure for ligamentum teres, the right lobe shows the fossa for the gallbladder, the quadrate lobe to the left of the gallbladder, and a part to the right of the bladder. The quadrate lobe, from its name, is quadrangular in shape. On its left side, the fissure for the ligamentum teres lies, and on its right side, the gallbladder lies. It is related to three structures: the lesser omentum close to the porta hepatis, the pylorus and first part of duodenum at its middle part, the transverse colon close to the inferior border. The part to the right of the gallbladder is related to the right colic flexure forming the colic impression. It reaches down to the lower margin. It is also related to the right kidney and suprarenal gland, which lies posterior to the colic impression. The suprarenal is in close contact with the groove for the inferior vena cava. It is also related to the second part of duodenum, just to the right of the neck of the gallbladder. To summarize, the quadrate lobe is related to three structures: the lesser omentum, the pylorus, and transverse colon. The right part of the surface is also related to three structures: right colic flexure, right kidney, and second part of duodenum. The left lobe is mainly related to the stomach. This is the porta hepatis, which runs transversely between the quadrate lobe and the caudate process of the caudate lobe. It transmits the divisions of the portal vein as the most posterior structure. The divisions of the hepatic artery in the middle and the two hepatic ducts as the most anterior structures. This is the posterior surface. It is narrow and triangular and gets more narrower in its left part. This is the groove of inferior vena cava. At this site, the inferior vena cava receives the two hepatic veins as they emerge from the liver. This is the bare area of the liver. It is triangular with its apex directed to the right and its base directed to the left, alongside the inferior vena cava. Its upper border is formed by the upper layer of the coronary ligament, and its lower border is formed by the lower layer of the coronary ligament. At the apex of the area, the two layers meet each other to form the right triangular ligament. The right suprarenal gland is related to the bare area very close to the inferior vena cava. This is the caudate lobe. It lies between the groove for the inferior vena cava on the right side and the fissure for ligamentum venosum on the left side. Notice that this area is H-shaped. The porta hepatis forms its transverse limb. The two fissures for the ligamentum teres and ligamentum venosum form the left vertical limb of the H, while the gallbladder and the groove for inferior vena cava form the right vertical limb. The caudate process arises from the caudate lobe immediately below the porta hepatis. This process intervenes between the portal vein anteriorly and the inferior vena cava posteriorly. Note that the ligamentum venosum is the fibrosed ductus venosus of the fetus. This is the gallbladder. It has a fundus a body, and a neck. In the anatomical position, the fundus is the lowermost, while the neck is the highmost. The neck leads to the cystic duct, which is S-shaped and joins the common hepatic duct to form the bile duct. The fundus is in relation to the anterior abdominal wall and lies opposite the tip of the 9th right costal cartilage. This is the porta hepatis of another liver, showing the structures passing through it. This is the common hepatic duct, which lies most anterior. This is the hepatic artery behind, and this is the portal vein, the most posterior.